relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. This is Investor Schooling Live with your host, Larry Steinhaus, CEO of Investor Schooling.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm jumping all over the place. I forgot to do something, so I forgot my own intro. Isn't that terrible? Good afternoon. Welcome to Investor Schooling Live. Investor Schooling Live is transmitting from the Investor Schooling Studios right here in the Investor Schooling headquarters. I am Larry Steinhaus, and I am the CEO of Investor Schooling. Hey, thanks for listening, and get ready to learn real estate investing, stock option trading, and so many more things about money that I bet you didn't know. You can call us anytime during the show, and we have a special guest, so you're going to want to write down this number right now. You want to call us anytime during the show with your questions at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. That's right. We're a live program. Today is Saturday, August 12th, and we are live, and you can call anytime during the show. Don't worry about the topic. We'll take your call about anything that has to do with money, finances, even politics. Hey, we're also live on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, and you can leave comments there as well. If you are watching online, please say hi. It's the only way we know you're watching. At Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing, stock options trading, how to save money in taxes, how to be financially free, and we even give you the motivation to make money work for you instead of you working for money. Investor Schooling is located in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, right off the Newtown Bypass, serving the New Jersey and greater Philadelphia areas in a real brick-and-mortar building. Our students are also located in several states with our exclusive web access to classes and seminars. Hey, get ready to learn something new. Get ready to learn the business of real estate. You know what? I'm done with this. I am done with this.
I keep
intro.
telling you,
I
need
am
to change
done
the
with this intro.
The intro
This
is
intro's
just not working.
terrible. We can't do this. Glenn,
doesn't work.
Glenn, would you just tell me right now that this intro's terrible?
That's the worst.
It is the worst.
It's terrible, right?
And when he's
It's
not
like,
here, I have to read that whole thing.
I know.
You know, so it's terrible.
I mean, I go on and I say I'm the friendly neighborhood financial expert, Larry Steinhaus, which is true, but so what? It's so boring.
The friendly neighborhood.
Yeah, the friendly neighborhood financial expert, the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
It's like Spider-Man.
Right, exactly. So
right.
I'm done with this intro. We're writing a new intro next week. Actually, we're not going to even be here next week. Shh, don't tell anybody on the air, though, because they won't know.
All right.
All right?
All right.
Because I got to go to my niece's wedding.
All right. So we'll get ChatGPT to write the new one.
Yeah, we actually did that one time, and I forgot where it was. You here? You don't remember? We had ChatGPT
Yeah, I
write
think
it.
we did it online.
But this,
yeah, we did it. Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. This intro was from 5 years ago when we had another guy on the air with us. What's his name? I forgot his name already. And he wrote that intro, and all I did was adapt it to me, and it was terrible then. But with his fancy voice, it sounded better.
Oh, is that what
So
it was?
yeah,
He had a
so
fancy voice?
I'm not doing this intro anymore. We're gonna do a whole new intro, Glenn. Here. Welcome to Investor Schooling Live. I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Deb Anderson, and my special guest, Chris Noggle, and we're going to be talking about stuff that has to do with stuff. I think it has to do with money, right?
Yes.
Yeah, money, right, okay. All right, so that's a better intro at the moment.
There we go.
Stop
We'll just go with it.
interrupting, Chris.
You're
Stop interrupting, Chris.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, yeah, for you guys who are wondering where Omri is, right now we're doing the Money Multiplier event next door at our school, and unfortunately, Omri couldn't make it because we needed somebody there who knew what they were doing, running the electronics, and Omri's running the electronics right now for that. So there's no Omri today, so I know nobody's going to be listening anyway, because everybody just wants to hear Omri say some word with his accent that he can't pronounce properly, and we can all make fun of him.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But anyway, if you guys want to call about anything, 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. I want to get to Chris, though. So, Chris, you are like the coolest guy ever.
Oh, you say that every time.
I know, but it's true. I mean, the guy used to be a snowboard champion. I mean, how cool is that?
It was awesome, man. I wish I could go back to those years. I still snowboard, but I mean, that was the best time of my life.
I snowboard too, but mostly my ass is on the ground.
I can see where that would be a problem.
Are you teaching Vivi?
Oh, of course I am. Yeah, she'll be on the hill a bunch this year.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But Chris has become the number 2 money mentor in the world.
It's funny how the rankings work, isn't it? Like you just get downgraded and you don't even know anything about it.
Well,
all of a sudden I became number 2. I used to be number 1, now I'm number 2.
You're only number 2 when you're around me.
Man, it's...
You do realize that, right?
I do.
I don't even know how to respond to that comment. I don't know how to respond to that.
Oh, I could recite Ricky Bobby and Ricky Bobby's dad in Talladega Nights. Son, if you're not first, you're last.
That's great.
So there is no second.
So every time I introduce Chris, it's very funny because the slide that we put up for Chris is he's the number 1 money mentor, and I always say he's the number 2 money mentor, and everybody laughs. So that's where that joke came from, because I did obviously introduced him earlier. And anyway, you get the idea. So you have a product that's an amazing product, and I don't even want to tell what it is. I'm hoping you can kind of describe it. Now I realize we don't have a slideshow. We don't have the same amount of time, but you have a product that actually seriously multiplies money, and there's no doubt in my mind that it's real. And actually, I'm a participant in it as well, and so is Debbie, and so is half our class. Actually, I think is also participants in it. But why don't you try it without describing what the vehicle is yet? Describe what it does.
Well, it provides guaranteed interest on your money. It provides, potential dividends each and every single year. And not only does it do that, it does that in a tax-free environment, so you don't have to pay any taxes on it. But the biggest thing it does is it allows you to use your money while still earning interest and dividends on that money. In other words, it's pretty much the only place on earth that you can put money, then take the money out and use it a second time while still earning interest on the initial source of money. So you get to make money twice when most people only know how to make money once. It's basically like what you just said. It's making your money work for you for the rest of your life, and you don't have to work any harder any longer or take on any additional risk to do that.
So if I understand it correctly, I put $1 in, I take $1 out, and the dollar, I realize the numbers are exactly right, but the dollar that I put in stays there even though I took $1 out.
That's correct.
And the dollar that I put in makes interest, and I go spend that dollar somewhere else. Maybe if I'm really smart, I buy a piece of real estate with that other dollar, and that dollar makes money, and the original dollar makes money.
Yeah, the only thing that would be against my teaching is spending that dollar when you take it out, because you don't want to spend it. You want to make it go to work for you a second time. Right.
So you can make, let's say you're making 5% interest on this dollar, the original dollar, and then you're making 10% interest on the other dollar. It's amazing.
It is. It is. I mean, it's exactly what banks do day in and day out with our money that we allow them to do it. I mean, you're just changing who the bank is. You're just becoming the bank.
And sure enough, I do it all the time. And one of the things that you talk about all the time is how to buy a car and get all your money back for that car.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing to talk about. I mean, maybe it's just because I like cars. I mean, I grew up, like most other, I guess, young boys at my age, had pictures of posters of cars on the wall. Mine was always a Porsche.
So it's funny. I am into weird cars. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
I have a Model T.
Love it.
Yeah, it's really cool. I have an MGB.
Love old cars.
Yeah, you should come by the warehouse. Oh, you got to go. But next time you come, you should come by the warehouse to take a look at my cars. I have an MGB. I have a Jaguar. The Jaguar is a nightmare. It's every time I drive it, I got to bring it to the shop right after I drive it.
It sounds like an old Audi that I had, an Quattro. Every time I rolled that thing out of the garage, man, I knew for a fact it would be towed home.
Yeah, it's the funny part is it always gets me to where I'm going. It's always right when I'm putting it back into the garage from my warehouse. Right when I'm putting it back into my warehouse is when it goes bad.
Well, at least you get back to your warehouse.
So it's kind of interesting because I always wanted an Audi. That was like before, like I have a Jeep now, like that.
Well, roll up your shirt. Let me see. Is it an Audi or an Indy?
But so I always wanted, like I always said when I got rid of my last Jeep, I'm going to get an Audi. I'm going to get an Audi. That's what I really wanted. Like, there's one car that I really, really wanted an Audi. I remember taking one for a test drive, and I'm like, oh, my God, it's beautiful. I love it. I love it. And the next thing I know, one drives through my house, and ever since, I just don't want an Audi anymore.
Yeah, for you guys to know the story about her. About
I can see where that would
ruin. It totally ruined it for me. Yeah. I mean, I technically got my Audi. It just wasn't the way that I wanted it, though.
All right, welcome to Cars Are Us Live. I think we were talking about money, Deb.
Yeah. Well,
but it takes money to have cars.
That's right.
And I guess to bring it all back, I mean, why not get cars, but get all the money back for every car you buy, drive, and own?
So I bet you guys have questions out there. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. So I actually wrote about this in my book, my Money Hacks book. My chapter 13 actually talks all about this, and actually talks about your partner, who is Brent. It actually talks about your partner Brent in this situation, and it's amazing that people sometimes you talk to people like, yeah, and I don't want to talk about the vehicle yet because they always put down the vehicle until they realize how great this vehicle really is, including people like I don't want to say it, but there are other people who are on the radio all the time talking about how negative they are to this vehicle, and it's the greatest vehicle ever. To hide money, you need to understand that my background was, and for you guys who don't know, in 2008 I lost everything, and I decided that I was going to figure out a way to make sure that it never happens again. So while I was going through that mess of bankruptcy, I realized that there were certain things that weren't taken, certain things that were taken, and what I could do to make sure that it never happens again. And I always joke and I say, I usually carry about $2,000 in my pocket. That's usually what I carry. Don't rob me. And if you do come up to me with a gun, I will hand it to you. No problem. Just let me keep my license and my credit cards because they're such a pain. I'll sooner give you the cash. And I'll say, hey, have a nice day. Spend it wisely. The problem is, when so now I made sure that nobody could ever take anything. So all I can get from me is my $2,000. So if you sue me for $2,000. That's all you can get. And this vehicle is also one of those vehicles that can help people keep their money in a bad situation.
Correct. It's protected against judgments and liens in almost all the states.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a few that has been challenged, and there's case study, but there's very few states.
Well, yeah, I heard you talk about that earlier. And the interesting thing about this is and we teach this too. We teach trusts and we teach proper structuring of all your assets, but you have to do it from the day you buy the asset. Don't think that 6 months from now I'm going to be sued, or I'm being sued right now. I can move all my assets into this vehicle or any other vehicle. It's just not going to work. You need to have long-term thinking about your assets. So we teach trust. We're not attorneys or accountants. We teach basic trust, and then we basically tell you to buy all your properties in trust, and we tell you to make sure that you're protected with LLCs and trusts, and that's what we teach. And in this vehicle, same thing. But you can't move this stuff over 2 months before you go into a nursing home, or 2 months before anything happens. You have to do it. You have to do it before bad things happen to you.
Yeah, I think a lot of people inherently are reactive versus being proactive, and this is definitely one of those vehicles you have to be proactive about. In everything you're talking about, trust. I mean, a lot of people, when do they want to trust? When it's too late,
Most
right?
people
They want to
don't know
move
what trust
assets
is.
into a trust when they're getting ready to, need care, or they're needing to protect something. It's always too late. So the best way to do it is, well, I mean, what do they always say about a tree? The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago.
Yeah, right.
The next best time, right now.
Right. Well, it's the same thing with buying real estate. People are so funny. Like, when should I buy real estate? Now.
Yeah.
I
Always
wish I
now.
would have bought it 20 years ago. So buy it now. So 20 years from now, you're okay. But then I get these people like they're 80. They go, well, why should I buy real estate now when I'm 80? And sometimes I look at them and I just want to shake them. I'm like, because, first of all, there's so many reasons to buy real estate even when you're 80, especially if you have an IRA. We're going off on a tangent now, but if you have an IRA and you have to take RMDs from your IRA, the required minimum distribution, buy a piece of real estate, collect the rent, and then take that rent out as your RMD, and every year your IRA goes up instead of going down, so you basically beat the IRS.
Yep, absolutely.
Great stuff. All right, so why don't you tell them, are you ready to disclose what this vehicle is and why it works?
Yeah, I don't think your audience is ready for it, but
All
sure.
right, well, then you wait.
Wait.
Don't tell them, then don't tell them.
All right, well.
If you don't think the audience is ready, don't tell them.
Well, I mean, they're never going to be ready because they've been lied to their whole life.
All right.
Their whole lives. I mean, most of what we know about money has been one giant lie to
Absolutely.
convince us to give up control of our money to Wall Street, the banks, and the system, if you will. I'm not trying to make it all the system, but it really is. And everything that we teach and everything that I do, including what I did today, is about one thing and one thing only. It's teaching you to take back control of your money by being your own bank. That's it. It's simple. There's nothing hard about it. It involves changing one thing, and that's where your money goes first, into this vehicle that we're talking about that we have not told your audience what it is yet. But, when I spoke today, I did that. I told everybody all the things that it does, right? Oh, the vehicle gives you guaranteed interest, pays you dividends, it's tax-free, it's protected against judgments and liens. It's the only place you can put money and use the money without stopping the flow of interest. Oh, and also it creates a legacy for you should you ever pass away too early. And everybody's like, sign me up. What is this magic vehicle?
You know what? Don't say what it is. I'll tell you why.
And then I tell them what it is.
I don't say what it is. I'll tell you what. Anybody who calls in, 855-939-1137, if you call in and you get it right, I will send you a copy of my book, signed. So you get a copy of Money Hacks, and again, the subtitle is Because Everything You Think You Know About Money Is Wrong. Money Hacks by Larry Steinhaus. You can get it at Amazon, or you can get it at Barnes & Noble. However, if you call in and you guess this vehicle, I will send you a copy of it for free. So 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. All right, Chris, go ahead. Tell them more about it.
Well, yeah, let's give them some more hints because, I want you to give away a book. So
Me too.
this vehicle is not new. It's been around for hundreds of years. was used by the wealthiest families like the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, J.P. Morgan, the Stanleys. It's been used by Walt Disney and Ray Kroc and pampered chefs Doris Christopher, right up to the sitting president. Love or hate, doesn't make a difference. I mean, all the wealthy families have used this. So trying to give your audience like a shoe in here so they get your book. I mean, they should be able to figure this out. Oh, and the number one purchaser of this magic vehicle is banks.
It's amazing,
Banks,
isn't it?
number one purchaser of it.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Hopefully you get a caller that calls in. I mean,
I don't see any callers calling in. You know what? Everybody who's usually all the fans of our show are actually next door at the Money Multiplier Workshop because we all gave them free tickets the last 2 weeks, so they're all over there. So the 3 people who listen to our show regularly are over there.
The 3 people.
it's funny. You know, it's I always like telling people, if you could put your money in the exact same place the bank puts its most valuable Tier 1 capital, would you? Everybody says yes. If you could put your money where the wealthiest families throughout history have put their money, would you? Absolutely. And then you tell them what it is, and they're like, oh, I don't want that.
Right, exactly. 855-939-1137. Come on, guess what it is. 855-939-1137. I know I would be like all over the phone right now because I knew what this was 20 years ago.
Yeah, I mean,
just by your description.
I'm going to give your audience more credit. I think they do. I think they know what it is. But even if they know what it is, they don't know how it's built to do what we do.
Are you ready? Here we go. We got our first caller. Eddie, what do you think?
Hello.
Hey, Eddie, can you hear us?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So what do you think, man?
I think it's probably I think it's a revocable trust.
No.
Nope. Wait, hold on. I need
but
the
a
buzzer.
revocable trust could own this.
But it's not what it is. You want to take one more guess? I'm going to give you one more guess, just because I can't find the ding ding the whatever the number button.
Okay. Well, I'll take. I guess it's probably not in the trust. We'll take a non-revocable. I don't think it is that either, though.
What is it?
Must be something else.
Non-revocable trust.
No, you ready?
But no, it's not that.
No way. No winner, man. Hey, you got anything? Any other questions you wanted to know?
No, I'm trying to get the book, but I talk to you periodically on the text. All right. Well, thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate the try.
Thanks for calling. We appreciate it, man. All right. Who's our next victim? I'm sorry. Who's our next caller? 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. This is an amazing vehicle. I'm telling you right now. Once you figure out what it is, you're going to be blown away, and you're going to say, no, that can't be right. It can't be right. I will tell you that people like Dave Ramsey say stay away from it.
Yep.
So I'm going to tell you that Dave Ramsey's out of his mind, but I also know that Dave Ramsey has a bunch of it, which is kind of interesting too. But that's all I'm going to say. 855-939-1137. What's the vehicle? All right. What else do you want to talk about it?
I just got to hit on your Dave Ramsey thing. I don't find that strange at all that he owns a bunch of this magic vehicle we're talking about, but yet says that nobody should have it. It's the worst place people can put their money. Because he's pushing a narrative. He's got his shtick that he pitches and that he makes a lot of money off of. Right. So if he's making a lot of money off of the opposite thing, why would he tell you to do what he's doing?
Yeah, sure.
Why don't banks tell you to put your money here when the banks are the number one purchasers of it? Why don't your advisors talk to you about this more? And some do. Give them that credit. But it's kind of, we should ask these questions for just about everything. Why is it that this is being shoved at me? Why am I being told to do this or buy this, or why is this the best thing? Ask questions. So many people are just like, oh, well, if you say it is, I guess it is. People take advice from people that don't even live the life that they want to live, from people that aren't even at the level that they are. I mean, what is that old saying about Wall Street? People roll up in a Rolls Royce. They go to Wall Street in a Rolls Royce to take advice from someone that took the subway in.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. It's
you love that one? Right. But
it's
like,
amazing
think about that.
to me. I find it fascinating that these registered reps, who most of them, they don't even have $100,000 to their name, and they're talking to people with $300-400 million, and they're trading their money. Are you insane? I mean, if you want to talk to me about money, show me your tax returns. Show me you make more money than me, and anything you say to do, I'll do.
Yeah,
I mean, but if you're not making more money than me, I'm going to look at you. Whatever you're telling me to do, I already know that I shouldn't do it. Because if you're telling me to do it and it's not working for you, I can't possibly do it. That's part of why we teach what we teach. Because there's so many people out there who are getting bad advice from not only their registered reps, their whatever financial advisors, but from their parents, their friends, their whatever. And by the way, I'm not. I do knock registered reps. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not I'm not knocking every registered rep. There's some out there that really know what they're doing. They're really good. They know how to make you money, and if they do, that's great. I also tell people, hey, come see us, and if you see us, now I will give you a review of what your financial advisor is doing for you, and I'll do it for free. And understand, it's totally objective because I can't move your money. I'm not a registered rep. I don't sell any products. I only sell education. All right, we got Peter. What do you think, Peter?
Yes, I would like to get the literature on that. I can't think of what the program would be that makes your money and still save it. But I would like to get the literature on it. And
well, we're going to give you an opportunity. Stay
there.
tuned because Chris is going to give you all his contact information before the end of the show. So definitely stay tuned. But you're blown away, but it's intriguing, isn't it?
It is intriguing, and your partner there sounds very interesting. And I listen to your radio every Saturday. What day is this?
Saturday.
Yeah, this is Saturday. Yep, every Saturday. And I'm tempted to come over to your program on Thursdays, I believe, over in Langhorne or New Hope, wherever it is.
Yeah, you've been here before or no?
No, I haven't.
Well,
I haven't.
what are you
but
waiting
I'm
for?
Really interested. That's the truth. Well, you guys have a good day, and I'll look for the literature in the mail.
You know what? No, well, you won't see in the mail. He'll give you. Keep listening. He's going to give you contact information. You can reach out to him. But hold on a second. I'm going to get back to you about not coming into investor schooling because I'm going to rip into you here. Okay, right? What are you waiting for? As Chris said before, what are you waiting for?
I don't know. I busy with life, and my wife just passed away. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
We're
Sorry to hear
working
that.
on
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. Well, all right.
Okay.
You brought me down now, so I can't rip into you too hard. But look, when you're ready, we're here. And if anybody else wants to know how to get there, you go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com, and you can sign up for class. And by the way, some of the concepts that Chris is talking about, we don't sell that product. He does, and we don't want to sell the product because we're objective, and that's what we do. We're objective in everything we do. We just happen to really believe in it. But I appreciate the call, Peter, and I'm sorry to hear about the bad news.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that, and have Jeff send me the information in the mail. I've been glad to look at it.
His name is Chris, and today's
You guys
Saturday.
have a good day.
Thank you.
All right, Steve. What do you think, Steve? What do we got? Are you there,
And
Steve?
it's life insurance.
All right, that's it, man. Have you heard of this before?
Have I heard of life insurance before?
No, have you heard of using it this way before?
I've read some articles, in some of the financial papers about it.
He sounds so excited about it, doesn't
I
he?
know. I was
Yeah,
gonna say.
it's not just life insurance though, because that's a broad topic. Life insurance could be broad. It's actually whole life insurance, but it's specially designed and engineered whole life. There's a lot of specifics that come into play when we get into it, but you did get it right. It is life insurance. It's one of the oldest places that you can think of where money can go and provide those type of guarantees that we were talking about earlier.
Isn't it amazing that
Yeah.
a whole life insurance policy will be able to do all these things for you? Now, here's the funny part. A lot of people come to me and they say,
I was a little confused, but how is life insurance protected from
Judgments and liens.
creditors
"Yep,
and lawsuits?
it is
It is,
absolutely,
yes. Yep.
and bankruptcy."
Yeah, it's
Okay.
challenged in certain states, so it's not every state. There's case law. You can look it up very easily in Google. But most states provide those protections with life insurance.
So the investment value, if it's whole life, nobody can get to it.
Correct. Yep.
So here's a really cool thing to do.
Okay.
If anybody has a whole life policy out there, and if you're using the way, so just real quick, so I'm going to get into the basics. You'll probably elaborate on it, but basically what we're doing is we're overfunding a life insurance policy. So we're putting in what some people call it drop-ins, some people call it overfunding, whatever. But we're putting extra money into our policy. So what I recommend people to do is, if they can, is overfund the policy as much as you can. There are certain laws that turns into what's called a modified endowment contract. But let's not get there. Let's just know that there's a certain law that's a maximum amount of money that you could put excess into your life insurance policy. Put in the most excess you can. Then borrow that money out immediately, and that's how a lot of what Chris is going to talk about works. But here's an interesting thing. If you got into trouble, and let's say you borrowed $100,000 out of your life insurance policy, and if you got into trouble and you had $100,000 and you wanted to hide it from a bankruptcy or from an attorney or from some kind of lawsuit, you have a $100,000 loan against your policy. Mm-hmm. Pay the $100,000 back, and it goes back into protected mode. It's kind of wild that you actually have the opportunity to do this to protect your money because you didn't protect your money earlier. And all you do is put it in and take it back out. Now, real quick, before Chris gets into any explanation, if anybody has questions on it, 855-939-1137. Oh, by the way, I'm hoping Glenn took Steve's information.
He hung up before I could get it.
Oh,
Tell
Steve.
him to call back. Tell him to call back.
Yeah, Steve, call back because I'm going to send you the book. That's funny. I completely forgot.
You got so into your story there.
But if anybody else has questions, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. All right, Chris, tell us more about how that works.
So again, I said it right in the key thing because a lot of people, when they think about whole life, they think of all the bad things. They think it's overpriced, it's expensive, pays out a huge commission. So that's why I always say it's specially designed and engineered. So what we actually do is we build it, like you said, we overfund it, but we put the lowest death benefit on. The death benefit is where the cost comes in play. And by doing that, we shift the way the policy works and we shift the way that it can build the wealth inside of the plan. So it doesn't perform anything like a regular whole life. But what it does, it's not even about we've been talking about the product. It's really how you use it and the concepts that I teach. And, infinite banking concept would be the one that most people might know about. We call it BYOB, but it's essentially you put money into this specially designed whole life, then you find somewhere for that money to go. And we take a loan from the whole life. Now, this is where the unique part comes. People hear that word loan, they're like, loan bad. But this loan never needs to be paid back because what the insurance company is doing is giving you part of your death benefit while you're living. And they'll do that up to the amount of cash value you have in the plan. So if you put $100,000 into the plan, you're going to have $90,000 or $85,000 in cash value right away. So you then can take $90,000 out and invest that money, buy real estate, loan money to a real estate investor, pay off debt, buy a car, whatever you want. And then you take whatever that vehicle or the car, or let's just pick on real estate, right? You take the rent from the real estate, and instead of putting it back in their bank, the traditional banking systems, you move it back over into the policy, which is your bank. By doing that, you've created end-to-end control. I always like to say Steve Jobs did it with a phone and with technology. We do it with money, end-to-end control, and you make a spread on your money because what the insurance company is paying you in interest and dividends is more than what they're charging you to take the loan. So you immediately are creating a spread, and that spread only goes up because your money never stops earning because when you take the money out, it's not your money. It's the insurance company loaning you death benefits. You get to make that interest. That's the magic. That's the whole concept is where the real magic is, and that's how you build the wealth.
Now, understand that I use this too, and I watch it. I mean, it amazes me that I keep borrowing money out of it, and every time I turn around, there's more money in it.
It's always going to be that way. That's the problem.
It blows my mind.
Yeah, we always tell people, tomorrow you're going to have more money than you did today, and there's not a thing that can change that. Like I did that example up there. I said, in the 6th year of that one example I gave, the guy put $10,000 in, and he could take $13,000 out. Just think about that, right? Can you put $10,000 in your bank and take $13,000 out?
No.
You can't. Where can you do that?
Right.
And then when you take the 13 out, you still got the 13 in there earning.
Right.
Yeah.
Then that money turns into more money. I'll click the button because when I take my loan, there's a button that says take the maximum loan possible. So I click the button that says take the maximum loan possible. I don't even know what kind of check I'm getting. I get a check, and then a couple of months later, I go back on. It says, "Hey, you've got more money," and it's like remember it used to be you've got mail.
Yeah.
It's almost like you've got money.
I like that.
I'm like, but I just took money. I just took it. It doesn't matter. There's more. Take more. Take more. Take more. And that's what it keeps saying. And it's amazing to me. Absolutely blows my mind. Now, please understand that this is not the whole life insurance that your cousin or your brother-in-law is selling. It's not the same thing. Please don't go to your brother-in-law and go, hey, I heard Chris on the radio today talking about this thing called infinite banking policy about buying whole life insurance. As soon as you do that, your brother-in-law is going to go, oh, yes, I'm going to sell you all the whole life insurance I can sell you because I make the most amount of commission on it, and I can't wait. Thanks, Chris, so much. And all you did was ruin it because you don't even understand how the policy works. As a matter of fact, from my understanding, from what I've seen, I talk to people in money all the time. I talk to life insurance agents all the time, and I bring it up. I'm curious to see what they go. Oh, yeah, we do that all the time. I go, well, how much overfunding do you go? And I swear, they go, what do you mean? And as soon as they do that, I know what it is. And most of the time, I'm going to say there's probably 2 to 5% of insurance agents in the planet that understand this concept.
It might not be that many.
It may not even be that many.
Larry, I bet
you
it's not.
Right, and then we've got the top of the top with you and Brent. The two of you guys are probably the greatest people I've ever seen present this, and not only present it in front of an audience, but also present it to the client. And when I say that, it's like you guys actually map it out, which is they go above and beyond. So I'm going to do this real quick because we're going to go to commercial in a minute, but why don't you give out your contact information, because we want to talk a little bit about real estate when we get back from the break. So talk to me, tell everybody about your contact information, how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, the best way to get a hold of me is chrisnaugle.com. It's Naugle. There's a pop-up that comes up to watch a video. Watch the video, and on there you'll be able to schedule a call.
So chrisnaugle.com?
chrisnaugle.com.
Okay, any phone number, anything else you don't want to give them?
They can call 833-JOIN-PMC.
All right. 833 Join PMC. All right, Glenn, take us out to a commercial, and we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit about real estate. This is Larry Steinitz with Invest.
You're clear.
Thank you, sir.
Reset. Phone number.
Well, the great reset
I'm like,
won't apply to those
okay,
who
we're getting that one.
assets. At Investor Schooling, we teach you how to own real assets like real estate, gold, silver, and other investments.
Larry, ask that